Well, Corny, it is a pleasure to be out on your place today.
Thank
It's
you.
a nice sunny day
Thank you.
above the clouds,
You're right.
and I've enjoyed seeing your house.
you.
How old
Thank
is
you.
that house again?
About 85 years old.
85 years old, and you've done a lot of renovation to that,
I did it
to the
about,
core house.
about 9 years ago, about
Oh.
10 years ago.
Well, it's very nice on the
Thank you.
inside and very warm, unlike out here.
You're right.
It's good. How
50,
many?
I believe it's 50 degrees.
I see. How many acres do you have in your?
In all, there's 382 and a half, but I've given each one of the children 20 acres on the roadside up here, and then there's 80 acres on that side, and I kept 20 for the bluff, which is now an historical area. And then I told them the other day, you can sell it back to me if you don't want it at the price it was when I gave it to you. So then I'll have all of it back.
I see. I have a feeling they're going to want to hang on to it,
No,
don't you?
I don't know.
Don't know.
No, they're city guys.
Well, I do understand that. A lot of people are concerned about that
Yeah,
on the land.
and I'm a country girl, so it means a lot to me, you know. I was raised in the country on a large farm, so
Good.
I'm automatically at home in the country.
Wonderful. Tell me, since you grew up on a farm, when did you all become tree farmers here?
Well, we bought the farm in '66, and there were already a lot of trees on it because it had just been cut not very frequently and not very well. So the first thing we did was to have cattle because we didn't live here. We lived at home. We hadn't retired. So the man that lived next door would give me cattle every year for leasing my just the place to him. So when I got ready to take over, I had 15 cattle, and I bought a bull, and that's how I started my cattle. And I kept them until about 1993, and I sold them. And then, well, right before then, though, we had to have money because I wouldn't sell cattle, so we started clearing a little trees, and that's how I got into tree farming, because basically I was a cattle farmer, I thought, and I liked that because I was raised on a dairy farm. So that's why I got into the tree farm. That's how I got the tree farm. And then when I nearly got killed by a stinking cow, well, I sold them, and then that's when I planted the acreage all in the back. My plantation now will soon be 8 years old, the 6th of February, right coming up.
And we're going to get to see that a little bit later
it's beautiful.
on.
It's beautiful.
Bet
John
it is.
thinks it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
That's great. That's great. Well, you've sort of answered the next question I had, which was why did you get into it? Was it just to replace the income since you got rid of the cows?
Well, it was to replace my property. You know, I was going to tell you that my philosophy is, and I'll tell it to you, it's good. No greater purpose has any man than to tend the herd and till the sod, and leave behind him greater still those acres leased to him from God. So I had to get to work and do something else with it. So I thought, well, trees were the best thing. And then about that time, we started Angelina and Nacogdoches County Farm Landowners Association,
Right.
and John helped me, and so I got right away and got to doing my trees, and then I've just gone. I tree farmed. John came last year, 2 years ago, and he said, Miss Fletcher, if you don't cut some timber, I'm afraid if we have a beetle infestation or a fire, you're in trouble. So I had some come, and I cut nearly $300,000 worth of timber. And now I'm getting ready to clear cut some where there's pretty oak, because they need the oak at the Bruce floor in Center, so that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, so you're going to get a good deal for that too. Well, that's great. So you're using what you've got here and restocking.
Yes, I'm using it. Then all I have left are just some spindly pine and a lot of pretty oak and ash, and so they're going to get that, and I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to completely replant.
Very good. Are you going to? I'm sorry.
I have enough already figured by my cutters that I'll have enough to shear, to replant, to use a good herbicide, and they'll pay for my trees.
Well, Corny, we're down here in the middle of your plantation.
Isn't it pretty?
It's beautiful. Now, how old are these trees?
8 years old. They'll be 8 years old the 6th of February.
Fantastic.
Isn't that a beauty? You figure, how tall do you figure that?
Oh gosh, now you're going to get me. And you're going to get me on tape, but I'm going to guess that one is probably about 35, 36 feet.
Well, my son measured some, and he found a 40-foot one for 8 years. Isn't that a beauty?
You bet it is. This is a real high site.
Yeah.
What was this area before it was a plantation?
It was a pasture for my cows.
So it had
It had fertilizer, it had lime, it had cow manure, it had everything.
everything the trees needed to grow.
Everything, yeah.
And they're looking good.
And I have a high water table here. You can see
okay.
that, yeah.
You bet. You
I
bet.
have some of the area right over there by the bluff that is spring fed by an artesian well, right over here.
Great. And we're going to go see that after
Yes,
we leave
yes,
here, aren't we?
uh-huh.
That's wonderful. When you invest in a plantation, you're looking toward the future, and I just wanted to ask you, what sort of future do you see for tree farming here in Texas?
Oh, I think it's going to be wonderful. Particularly my area, and that's all I got to worry about. If I take care of 82 acres, I'm doing pretty doggone good.
You are
I
that.
think.
What kind of markets do you see for that in the future?
Well, I don't really see much market for me because all of mine is young. But I'm getting ready to clear the back 172 acres, and I'm going to completely replant it, and I will have that accomplished by November of this year. That's my plan.
Fantastic.
172 acres.
That's going to be a large planting operation.
Yeah, won't
isn't
that
it?
be nice, though?
It will. It'll be pretty. Just think in 8 years it'll look like this.
Yeah, if I'm here to see about it.
Oh, I got a feeling you might be.
Well, I'll soon be 86 years old, so
Yeah.
don't know about that.
Well, we never know, do
No,
we?
no.
But what a great place, and what a good job you're doing
Thank you.
investing in the future of it.
Thank you.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
that's wonderful.
I think it's great. I don't worry about the future. I'm just thinking about today.
Yeah, that's all you can do anything with.
That's
isn't it?
right.
Okay. Well, we're going to probably leave here in just a few minutes, but a short time ago, we went and looked at another unique feature of your property. We saw your waterfall.
Yeah, how do you like that?
That thing looks great.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
That's one of my favorite. Well, I found it right away because we had a real large amount of water, and it was just, it was just beautiful. It was just everywhere. It was not down like it is today, but when we have a large rain, it is beautiful. It is just gorgeous. But there's been a lot of erosion, you could see on that in that area. But the men that have cut from me have been real careful about managing it. So, and I stay with them, and they do real well.
Well, and obviously when you've got a waterfall, you've got a stream, and where you
You're
have a
right.
stream, you have bottomlands.
Yes. Well, I have a lot of bottom land, and I have a lot of good water, high water table.
And some pretty good hardwood trees, I think you told me
I have
earlier.
a lot of hardwood, and I'm going to sell those to a hardwood floor place in Center.
Great.
And they told me that I needed oak, both the white oak and the red oak, and I have a good combination of both, of good. So I'm hoping to get a good bit of money out of that.
Why not?
Yeah, and then it'll be while I had Dawn out recently, and she told me it would probably be 4 or 5 years before they came in and did any thinning these trees at all. And I noticed that I have some trees that are not very nice. I have a lot that are forked at the top, and these are supposed to be real good genetic trees. I got them from Weyerhaeuser, and I'm seeing a lot of them, and it worries me.
Well, those will be the ones that come out in the first thinning, won't they?
Well, if they're not in the third row, they won't.
Oh, well, that's true. But they can always slip in and get another tree or two here and there.
Well, I understand they make so much damage in there, you know.
Well, they've got some new equipment.
Well, I
They'll
hope
just
so.
reach in there and grab one
Yeah.
tree and
I
take
had
it
a
out.
man come recently to get my straw, and I said, "Okay, how much do you see in this for me?" He said, "Oh, enough to pay your taxes." I said, "My taxes are great, but I didn't want anybody. I don't want anybody back here. They smoke and they just cut up jack, and I don't want that."
It's your place.
That's right.
Good. Well, I want to see that bluff.
Well, let's go.
Let's go.
All right. We're ready.
Okay, yeah. Corny, everybody, even though your place is beautiful and you love it, and obviously, and you're doing great things on it, everybody at times has some difficulties on their tree farms. Have you had any?
Well, let's start way back there. First of all, I had the cattle. I have trouble with cattle. Even though I had them about 30 years, I tried to boss some of the mamas, and they didn't like it, and one of them got after me and knocked me down and tore my shoulder and broke a thumb, and so about that time I decided I didn't think the trees could do that to me, so we sold the cattle and started trees. So that's how I happen to be a tree farmer.
Wonderful. And trees don't break out of fences.
No, they don't, but they can break down over the road, you know, and I have to get the tractor and get them out of the road, but other than that, trees are great. And they sing, by the way, have you ever heard the story of the 3 little trees that were growing on a mountainside?